All right, today we're diving into a story that, on the surface, looks like it's all about scandal, right? But if you look just a little closer, it transforms into this incredible narrative of justice, a shocking personal turnaround, and ultimately a redemption story that literally changes the course of history.
So, we're jumping into the ancient story of Judah and Tamar from the book of Genesis. And it's a raw story. It really gets into deep human flaws, but it also reveals this even deeper divine plan quietly working behind the scenes.
Okay, so our story really kicks off with Judah. Now, this is one of Jacob's 12 sons, a real leader among his brothers. But after all the trauma that went down with their brother Joseph, Judah makes this huge decision. He walks away. He separates himself from his family, and that single choice sends him down a path of serious moral compromise.
And you can see here just how far he drifts. He doesn't just move down the road, he completely detaches. He befriends a Canaanite, he marries a Canaanite woman, and he starts raising his kids totally immersed in a culture that is not his own. This separation, it sets the stage for absolutely everything that's about to happen. So now Tamar enters the picture. She marries Judah's firstborn son, and she's probably thinking, she's got a future, a family. But instead, she walks right into a nightmare of tragedy and injustice, let down by the very system that was supposed to protect her. And to really get what's at stake for Tamar, you have to understand this thing called levirate duty. After her husband Er dies, this cultural law was basically her only safety net. It was a system designed to give a childless widow a future and a place within the family. It was her only hope. But right away, the whole system just collapses on her. Judah's second son, Onan, he goes through the motions, but secretly, he sabotages the whole thing just to protect his own inheritance. And for that, he also dies. So now Tamar is a widow twice over, and people start looking at her like she's the problem. But the real failure, well, that's about to come from her father-in-law. At this point, Judah is just scared. He starts seeing Tamar as some kind of curse, and there is no way he's going to risk his last son, Shelah. So he makes this big public promise to her, sends her away to wait, but inside he's already decided he's never going to keep it. He basically traps her in this legal and social limbo with absolutely no future. So imagine this. Years go by. Shelah is a grown man, and Tamar is just forgotten, abandoned. She realizes that no one is coming to save her, no one is going to give her justice, so she decides she has to take matters into her own hands. And she comes up with this incredibly bold, incredibly strategic plan. Not for revenge, but to claim the justice that she is owed. She gets word that Judah, who's a widower himself now, is going to be traveling. So she takes off her widow's clothes, puts on a disguise, and sits by the road, and she waits. And when Judah propositions her, thinking she's a prostitute, she doesn't just agree. She makes a brilliant strategic move. She asks for a pledge, like collateral, until he can send her payment. And this is the genius part. Look what she asks for. Not a sheep, not some money. No, she asks for his seal, his cord, and his staff. This is basically his signature, his ID card, and his symbol of authority all rolled into one. She literally takes possession of his entire public identity. Judah, not thinking, agrees. And then 3 months later, when news breaks that Tamar is pregnant, the trap is sprung. And here we see Judah just completely hit rock bottom. When he hears the news, his judgment is instant, and it is brutal. Burn her. The hypocrisy is just staggering, right? He's condemning her to a horrific death for the very same act he secretly committed. There's no mercy, just this ugly, self-righteous rage. But Tamar, she's not a screamer, she's a strategist. As they're dragging her out for her execution, she doesn't shout his name. Her move is way more subtle and way more powerful. She sends a quiet message directly to the man who condemned her, giving him one last chance to choose truth over his own reputation. She just presents the evidence, the seal, the cord, the staff. She forces him to accuse himself. The choice is all his now, isn't it? He can deny it and let an innocent woman burn, or he can confess his sin and face the massive public humiliation. And this is the moment. The entire story pivots right here. The man who was just screaming for her death breaks. The hypocrisy falls away. He looks at the evidence, and instead of lying, he confesses. He says it out loud for everyone to hear. She is more righteous than I am. He admits his failure created her desperation.
This is his turning point. This is his transformation.
You know, this confession is so much bigger than just saving one woman's life. It fundamentally changes Judah's character, and in a way that nobody could have possibly seen coming, it redeems his entire broken family line, weaving this messy scandal into a much, much bigger story of hope. So what comes out of all this chaos? Twins. And the first one born, who kind of forces his way out, is named Perez, which literally means breakthrough. How perfect is that? It's the perfect symbol for what just happened, a brand new beginning, a way forward, born directly out of crisis and injustice.
And this is where the story just explodes into this huge, epic narrative. This isn't just some forgotten family drama. That breakthrough son, Perez, his family line doesn't fade into obscurity. No, it leads directly to Boaz, who marries Ruth, which leads to King David, and ultimately all the way to Jesus Christ, who is named as a descendant in the New Testament. This story of human brokenness gets woven right into the lineage of the Messiah. It's just unbelievable.
So what do we take away from this raw, kind of uncomfortable story? Well, it seems to show a God who sees the oppressed and has a way of exposing hypocrisy. It shows us that courage matters, that pushing back against injustice matters. And maybe most of all, it shows that even our absolute worst moments, our most broken pieces, can be used for something so much bigger. And that really leaves us with this incredible question, doesn't it? This ancient story challenges us to wonder if maybe our failures, our points of shame, don't actually disqualify us. Maybe, just like with Judah and Tamar, they can become the exact place where a greater story of breakthrough and redemption is just waiting to begin.